Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Threadlings of Filmmaking Production Diary. My name is Miguel Ortega, and this is my co host, Tran.
Hello, everyone.
We're talking about the making of an animated short film in Unreal Engine 5.3 or 4. Who knows by the time
We're
we're
done.
done? Yeah. But let's see who's here today. So we have a new user interface on our end. So
It's a little
it's a
confusing.
little confusing. So we might have a couple hiccups. Ruben, what's up? So yeah, we weren't here last week. We ended up having to do two things. We had to go to Austin, Texas, which was really awesome. Um, so we're in the Ride Back Rise writing program, and we are given a mentor, and we were given Robert Rodriguez, which is amazing. So we got to go to Austin, Texas, and hang out with him for 2 days. We thought, we might get him for like half an hour or something, and we ended up getting all his attention for an entire day, and then the next day we got to visit his amazing house. So it was incredible.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was really mind blowing. He's such a nice person.
Yeah,
So, like, you're like, how can someone be this nice? Uh, he's the coolest person. And I obviously always had a ton of respect for him before meeting him, but I have way more respect for him.
yeah. The
Um,
the the facility he has, Troublemaker Studio, is as amazing as you could possibly imagine. Like a one person studio would be. I mean, just crazy.
yeah, I've always heard, Miguel's always told me about his studio. And I'm like, that's so cool. So when like a director has their studio and it's like, when you get there, it's way bigger than you think it is.
It's massive.
It used to be an airport.
It's massive. It has like a whole back lot, a whole city, which was the Battle Angel Alita city. It looks incredible. It's
It's truly a production studio that has everything.
everything. The costume
Like you
department
don't,
stuff looks amazing. The prop department. There's a room of just 3D printers, FDM printers, resin printers, but like dozens of them. It's really
it's an impressive machine.
it's a true compound. So that
Yeah.
was amazing. And then we got to see his awesome house, which we won't get into the details of that, but it was pretty amazing. So yeah, just pretty incredible experience to meet someone that you look up to and they live up to.
Oh,
Uh,
they exceed.
they exceed.
They
Yeah, yeah,
completely exceed the what you expect, and the expectations were high.
yeah,
What's very cool is that like his story was that he wrote that book, right, Rebel Without a Crew,
yeah.
and how he did his first movie,
Mariachi.
yeah, by himself with very little money, and that kind of mentality hasn't really left,
Yeah,
right? So you think when someone gets that big, why do you need to do everything yourself? Well, he still does a lot of stuff himself.
yeah. He's like really, he's just like really on the front lines of like tech and everything. He knows everything. Like he knows everything
Yeah,
that's out there.
but he still does all his editing. He does his own slap edits. He still operates the camera. He still does his sound mix, and of course, obviously directing and writing. So he does all that stuff, and you really won't find that many filmmakers like that in this industry at all.
Yeah,
So it was, cool that he actually still does all that stuff because you don't really have to when you're at that level.
yeah. And he's got a ridiculously amazing IMDb as a director. It's pretty crazy. He's done hell. I don't even know how many movies this is. This is just a ton. But from El Mariachi, all of this, all the Spy Kid movies from Dusk to Dawn, Four Rooms, which is an anthology film with Tarantino. His is the best one in there for sure. Planet Terror, just so much stuff. The Machete movies, Battle Angel, the Book of Boba Fett. That's one thing I couldn't help but do. Is I had to take my my Boba Fett on Throne and have him sign it because I'm a nerd. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a really funny meeting.
yeah, yeah, it
It
was
was like
cool.
very serious, and then we were all excited and we asked him all these questions. And at the very end, inside a backpack, Miguel pulls out the throne
My Boba Fett Throne.
toy.
because I'm a nerd.
from his bag. He's like, "Could you please sign this?"
Yeah, what the hell? I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it's freaking awesome. And then yeah, and then we ate some of the best freaking Mexican food I think I've ever had in my life. And we're pretty snooty about it. We're like, oh, we're from LA. We know Mexican food, and this place was incredible.
Yeah. Well, they have a population over there too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes sense. Their food is amazing.
Yeah. So Austin was awesome. We really liked it, and then we came back and then started. We found out that our main kid, the kid who we were casting for to play Cot, which took us a very long time to land this kid.
Yeah, because one thing to keep in mind, a lot of people would use maybe a casting agency, so they're
We don't have
filtering.
the money for that.
Yeah, and they will filter in thousands of people. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's so much work. That's why there's something called a casting agency, right? So you're not even talking about a casting agent, but there are companies that just specialize in casting. But we don't have money for that, so Miguel just does it all.
I listened to every single submission, and we've got like 2,000 submissions for the Threadlings between the main characters. I don't even want to say 99% of them are horrific, because it's not. It's like 99.9% are horrific, and they're really demoralizing to listen to because
Yeah, most of them are like they're not even trying. I don't even know what's the point of auditioning.
yeah, some of them are not even trying, but some of them just read your story so wrong that it makes you question everything. You're like,
done.
wait a minute, is this how you First of all, it makes you realize, oh my God, this is how someone can envision a script wrong, right? And you're like, that's how you interpreted the characters. Then it makes you freak out about everyone else that's reading your script that just is completely missing the mark on how these characters should be interpreted.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, "Oh my God, that's how you envision this character." That's terrifying. And so it makes you question it until you find the right kid. And then once you find the right kid, you're like, "Oh my God, this kid is incredible." And we found the right kid. We're super excited. We're coming back from Austin thinking we're awesome. We reach out to the mother, say, "Hey, we're ready to go. This is cool." And she's like, "Oh, he's leaving to Hong Kong for a few months. We missed it. We missed the window." And we freaked out, and we're like, "No, you got to let us record this kid before he leaves." And she's like, "We're leaving on Monday. You'd have to record him this weekend or else he's gone." And we just had to just go into panic mode, get everything ready, record him, and we did that this weekend.
And then,
Which
yeah,
was,
like,
yeah.
keep in mind, like, this stuff is a ton of work for us because we don't have the kind of setup that you think, right? So like a typical like rich director, I would just say they just most people would just be like, okay, we're gonna record, and they show up to a studio that they pay thousands of dollars to rent or whatever per day, and everything is there. For us, we do everything. So we set up the sound, we have the mics, we have to have the booth. So it takes us time to actually have all this stuff and set it up all ourselves manually.
Yeah, and we don't know how to do a lot of that stuff. So it's like, okay, now we have to learn which is the recorder we're gonna get. What is the best mic? How do we record this? How do we make sure it doesn't clip? How do we make sure that we block out all the noise without losing the quality? Like, these are all things that you would
Right.
usually go to a studio for, and we have to figure it out.
And someone else takes care of that.
Yeah. But anyway, we recorded the kid. I'll play you like some of the stuff here.
There he is! The Lepidoptera murderer! Run!
So you can see it's a real kid. It sounds adorable.
He's the cutest.
Master, the Zort! He's not Zort. He's a moth in disguise. We're all in grave. But
So there's another character is not recorded. So when it ends abruptly, it's because there's another voice that should be there that isn't recorded yet.
we have evidence now.
And he's got a stutter, of
If you
course.
follow us, we can.
But he was like this one here. We thought he was gonna get this word Lepidoptera murder wrong, and he just got it the first try.
There he is! The Lepidoptera murderer! Run!
so good. So we recorded him. Let's see what else we have here. Uh, so we recorded him, and then we recorded the character that would be Zort. And I'll play you some of that. And let me just show you like how this is basically set up. Like, let's see. Let's go to the classroom. Okay, so Zort is like this pompous character. He's like the Harry Potter character. Let me see if I can pull him up here. An image of him.
There's a quick question here.
Every thread yearns for the loom card.
Let me see if I can find it. What's the question?
Just about the time. Slight early stream. Did time zone change?
We have to. So I'm teaching a class on Fridays now, so I do have to do it a little bit earlier in order to get to class on time, unfortunately. But yeah, that's just because of the schedule at the school. Let me see. Give me 1 second. So this is Zort. So he's like this kind of pompous character. He thinks he is the chosen one. He's supposed to be the one that like ends the war against the moth. And this is an earlier version before he was textured correctly. This is the only one I have at the moment. So we recorded him.
I could also play the video too if you want.
Do you have the video?
Yeah, I just need a second.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid is totally spilling spoilers, but this whole stream is a giant spoiler, so it's okay. So just share your screen.
Yeah, let me just load it first. We'll play the whole clip. Okay, I don't know how to make the what pop up anymore. Oh, there it is.
So this is Zort.
Yeah, so this is an interface. It takes a second to figure out how to do this.
So this was textured by Sasha. So you can see he's really ornate. He is really kick-ass.
And then there's, keeps going. Yeah, this gives you a nice overview how he looks.
Just beautiful stitch work.
There we are. So that's Zort.
So that's Zort. So we recorded him. He's older than Kot, as he should be in the story. So he's an older kid. And this is him, like standing in front of a classroom, talking a bunch of hype and bullshit, right? Because he's like a pompous douche, kind of. So.
In the chilling darkness of the moth hive, fear of death gripped me. Yet, recalling the prophecy's promise of victory, my fear waned. Blessed by the heavens, I stood emboldened. Unleash the moth!
So then the moth, this like fake moth, would come charging at him from this track, right? And then he would,
And Argia expellum!
boom, the moth explodes into,
Yeah.
feather and filling and whatever.
Yeah, and keep in mind the moth is not very scary looking.
It's super goofy looking, yeah.
It's goofy. It's like made out of fabric.
So the crowd starts going crazy. Everybody's clapping,
Shall not devour mine threads, evil moth!
right? So you can see he's total,
He's big. He's on a stage. He's performing.
yeah. And the crowd loves him. So as he's saying all this stuff, he's got them like hooked to every movement, and he's being super dramatic. And the whole idea here is like when it starts, he's kind of in silhouette and he's like backlit. And as he's doing this stuff, like he has like the lighting choreographed so that when he goes, blessed by the heavens, like a light would turn on from above, and he wants it done a certain way for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
So I'll play it one more time. So
In the chilling darkness of the moth hive, fear of death gripped me. Yet, recalling the prophecy's promise of victory, my fear waned. Blessed by the heavens, I stood emboldened.
Boom, the light turns on.
Unleash the moth.
And then boom, the moth comes running. So let's look at so you can see one, it's not one single take. So everything is cut up from multiple different takes and trying to get the best piece from each one, and also giving the proper spaces for like the dramatic effect, right? So to make it even more pompous, like
Ripped me.
so when it goes gripped me, let me play that part again.
Death ripped me.
So death gripped me, like I'd want him to like close his fist and look up into the heavens, right? And you need that space to be able to put that action in there. So I got to give it a little bit of a space.
Yet,
And when it goes yet, like his hands would come out and like hover over the audience, and the whole audience is like, right? Very Jack Skellington telling them about Halloween Town or Christmas Town.
recalling the prophecy's promise of victory, my fear waned.
Right? So just think over the top, pompous, Professor Lockhart, Jack Skellington hyping up the crowd with Christmas Town and whatever. And what's going to happen is after he does that, he's going to say something like,
Are you prepared? Or perhaps,
this one here.
which of you is eager to step forward first and show me the magical skills delicately woven under Master Shrag's guidance?
So he's asking the students, which one of you wants to come up and demonstrate everything that the professor has taught you? The professor is Shrag, who will be played by someone we hope to announce soon if we get him. Okay, so just when that happens, Cotton and Mayo are late to class and they burst in, they're out of breath, whatever. And then this guy Zord, who's obsessed with the whole prophecy and destiny and whatever, feels that timing meant something. So he asked Cot to come up on stage, right? And the other professor, Shrag, he's like, you're late, you can't come into the classroom, you can't come into this thing. So I used to do that as a teacher. I'd be like, if you're late, you can't come in. But so that was me. So, but however, Zord is like, no, I think that there's a reason for this though.
Or perhaps destiny has precisely timed his arrival to coincide with the moment he was most needed.
So you'll have the audience reacting because they all know that Cot is the worst one, and they're all like kind of giggling and smirking. And the professor Shrag, he wants to show off this amazing new group of students that he's raised, and Cot should definitely not be the one that represents them.
Are you prepared to take the stage?
Now?
Is there a better time?
No, sir. I'm ready.
Good. Dazzle me with your prowess, Cot.
Don't stutter. Don't stutter. Don't stutter.
And then boom, the moth would come out flying.
Energy Ah!
Boom, it hits him. So he totally fails in front of his hero, in front of the whole class. This part of the edit is still rough, but you get the idea. So he's going to look like a fool in front of everybody. So now we've seen. So what are we trying to establish with this scene? What a pompous character this guy Zord is, how much everybody looks up to him, how he's the hero.
And then the aspect of destiny.
The aspect of destiny, and then trying to set up Cot to come in come in late, and in a way he is fulfilling a sense of destiny by coming in at that time. We have to set up his name, so right away the professor would be, you're late, Cot, you can't come in. One of the things you want to try to get into your script is how do you get the characters to say the name of all your other characters as quickly as possible.
Yeah, like those are some of the things like when we first started writing many years ago. It was like, yeah, how do you establish that? You can't have a character who's like, hi brother, hi mom, hi dad.
Yeah.
Like walk into a room. Like you have to do delivering information in the most simplistic, natural way that you can.
Yeah. So let me see if I have.
And for us to have our Zort character be on the stage makes the most sense because that is what he does all the time.
So let's take a look at that. So here we could see this as it was written. So let's see. An ornate formal training room made of quilted fabric. Zort 16, pretentious and smug, lectures to a room full of students. Captivated, they hang onto his every word. Shrag observes from the sidelines, nodding his head. And this is it. In the chilling darkness of the moth hive, fear of death gripped me. Yet recalling the prophecy's promise of victory, my fear waned. Blessed by the heavens, I stood emboldened. Unleash the moth. At Zort's command, the fabric prop moth, mounted on wheels, races along the track directly towards him. Energy expellum, that's the magical spell that basically blasts the moths. A vibrant red flame erupts from Zort's hand, blasting the prop moth off its tracks. A crowd erupts into applause. Zort sucks up the praise. Thou shalt not devour my threads, evil moth. And then that'll be Shrog saying, the student becomes the master. Well done, my boy. And everyone in the classroom is saying this thing, praise be the red crystal's glory. Praise be the red crystal's glory. So very cultish. This kid is supposed to be the Messiah figure. So they're all saying this, praise be the red crystal's glory. The red crystal represents the fact that Zort is the only one born from a red crystal, so he's expected to be this holy, like I said, a Messiah figure. Okay, so then we go to, now which one of you is eager to step forward first and show me the magical skills delicately woven under Master Shrog's guidance? Shrog looks at two students, cueing them to step forward. These are going to be these two characters that are wearing these owl masks. They're like the freaking Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes of the team, right? They're fucking awesome. And then, bam, the door suddenly bursts open as Cotton Mayo make a dramatic entrance, panting and out of breath. The class turns in unison, their gazes fixed on the latecomers, right? And that's when he goes, you're late, there's no entry under the bell. And that's when Zort says, or perhaps, with his pompous voice, destiny has precisely timed his arrival, to coincide with the moment he was most needed. Shrog is at a loss for words. Like, he's like, wait a minute, this kid should not do it. Are you prepared to take the stage? Kot looks at Zort, surprised and nervous. Now. So this is how we're writing everything. And you can see it's pretty damn close to what you're hearing there. It's all there.
In the chilling darkness of the moth hive, fear of death.
Okay, and then you could see when we did a few changes here. So one is the guy's voice, Adam, who's a fantastic actor, is older than Kot. So one of the issues we had is that he sounded amazing, but when we put him in there, we still wanted him to sound like he was coming from this little guy, but also sound like a teenager. So we had to do a bunch of audio tweaks here, and I'll show you what it sounds like raw. So this is the raw.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory. Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory. My fear waned.
So you could see, and that right there goes to the modulated or adjusted voice. So a few things were done. Reverb was done to give the room a sense of scale. So you just associate lecture rooms and theaters with that heavier reverb. That's one of the main traits of that. So we wanted that. So we're doing that with like studio reverb, de-esser, vocal enhancer. All of these things here are giving us this.
Calling the prophecy's promise of victory.
Okay, but he still sounds a little bit older, and that's where we started using this tool called, which is super messed up. It's called Little Altar Boy, and it's basically a pitch shifter. And if you come over here, you basically have the pitch, and you could see. So I brought it up just one. But let's play that.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory. My fear waned.
You can see I could bring it up.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory. Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
So you could go all the way to Chipmunk.
Calling the prophecy's promise of victory.
Or you could go total Darth
Blessed
Vader.
by the heavens, I stood.
Calling the prophecy's promise of victory.
My fear waned.
Calling the prophecy.
So let's bring this up. These dials are a
Yeah, that looks-
freaking nightmare to use.
They look
Just the
terrible.
absolute worst. Like, guys, it's not a dial. Just, oh
Just
my
give
goodness.
us a slider because it looks like unbearable when I watch you do it. Like you can't even input a value.
So you can. The thing here, you just have to. Oh my goodness, I want to cry every time I have to move this thing. It feels like it's
It feels like really laggy and like super delayed. Like you're
it's
clicking.
not this bad normally. You know how it is with the stream. Everything goes to hell.
Yeah, but I've seen you. It's still kind of like weird.
Yeah. So anyway, needless to say, this thing is horrific. So the way I just set it up is I just manually input this thing. So you just use this slider here. So you don't get the pretty interface, but like who cares? So we're not just adjusting the pitch, but we're also adjusting the formant, or else it starts sounding a little too modulated.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
So you can see that sounds pretty insane there. So we'll just set it to 0.1. 0.1.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
Just to make him sound a little bit more like a teenager.
Yeah,
Every
it's
turn.
just very subtle.
It's very subtle.
Recalling the prophecy's
That's without it.
promise of victory. Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
It just brings it up just a tiny bit. And let's see 0.2 just for the hell of it.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
Is it changing?
It is.
Okay. Point two, it sounds.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
What are the other ones at?
0.1.
Recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
Hold on. That doesn't really sound much different.
Recalling the
Yeah, I think it broke.
Yeah, I think it broke.
recalling the
Let's see.
the prophecies.
Yeah, I think it broke too.
What is it on the other clip?
No, it's on 0.1. Here it's different. This says 1, but it's not 1. It's I think it just broke, which is fine. So I'll just get rid of little altar boy, go to my effects rack again. Let's look at altar. We'll just throw it in here. And we have to put that in there before we put in any of them.
So it's in layers too.
Yeah, so you want to put that in before it starts doing the reverb or everything, or else it starts pitching up the stuff after it's echoing. So my God.
I was watching you do it. It looks like painful.
Yeah, it actually is very painful.
What's going on?
What happened there?
I don't know what video started playing. The interface, just so you guys know, I'm like super confused by it. So that's the interface that streams the stuff. So if we have like little hiccups again, it's because all the buttons are weird.
All right, let's try that.
Oh,
Oh, so I crashed. Okay. Tran, you want to show something in the meantime?
yeah, I need to load up some stuff. Give me a second.
So just give me 1 second and we'll I'll start this up again, but Tran could show some of the substance stuff. So it crashed out. Obviously you saw I was acting really weird to begin with. I think the plugin is really not as terrible as it seems, like where the slider is just unbearable. There's something about it being used while we're doing the stream where it's just madness.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I think streams are like taxing on your card, graphics card.
Taxing is an understatement. It murders it.
So aside from like the sound recording, because I am there for all those sessions, what I've been trying to get done is this card. Let me adjust the lighting the way it's set up right now. Let's see if I can make it pretty without crashing. The shadows make a difference? Not really. Okay, so this is what I have. Make it full screen. And this is the cart that Cot and Mayo will be sitting on. Cot's going to sit right here. Let me see if I can pull up a pen, because this pen actually sometimes doesn't work during the stream. But I'm going to give it a shot. It doesn't work when I have Unreal Engine running. But Cot is like sitting right here. That's like his head with the little balls. That's his eyes, his nose. And then he's just going to be like kind of crouched down, sitting like this. You like my drawings?
I do, actually.
And then here's his hand. And he's all sad. So this scene takes place after, let's do a sad face. This scene takes place after he gets his butt kicked, right? He goes up to demonstrate. He kind of is put on the spot, and he bombs it in front of everyone.
Yeah, this is basically for the scene directly after he bombs in front of everyone.
Yeah, and he's just like moping, sitting on this cart. The thing I don't have in here are like the berries, right? So there's like giant fruit. Artistically, what we want are to always give a sense of scale. So it's kind of tricky to have something like that when everything is built to their size. Like the cart is built to their size, right? But we can kind of tell you like that they are actually small guys by putting like giant grapes, right? So a grape is about this size, one of these. And then that really helps. Also the camera and stuff like that. And then Mayo is over here, and he's gonna, you know, he's smaller. I don't know what I'm drawing. Okay, that's his feet or whatever.
Mayo's really tough to draw in 2D.
Oh yeah, he looks like freaky
Yeah.
when he's drawn, and he's gonna be pushing the cart. And then Cot is just moping here. And this is all outdoors. So it's in the cactus scene that you've seen Miguel show in some of the previous streams. It's this design, I don't know, it looks simple, but a lot of thought is actually put into this so that they feel as cute as they can. You can see here in the design, if you look at Cot's room, which I can show again in a moment, everything is like round. Mayo's is more square, like his head is square. That's Mayo, right? But he, I don't know, the round theme really dominates the room. And so everything is very spherical. And we try to make it look cute, right? By giving it big wheels. It's just trying to build the scale as best as we can. It's quilted, it's got an umbrella. There are some things that we think about when we're building it. If you notice, there's a lot of light that pass through the umbrella, and that's because these are single-sided meshes.
That looks great, the way the light works like that.
Yeah, so that's something that you know, I think about a lot, and it takes time.
That really worked out on Voice in the Hollow in the ceremony. I didn't know Unreal could do that until we did it in Voice in the Hollow. I was like, damn, that looks pretty nice.
Yeah, we use this a lot in Unreal, just single-sided fabric. As you can see, like the body, maybe the shadows make a difference here. Yeah, they do a little bit. The body has thickness, so light won't actually travel through that. And then just kind of like, you know, it takes a little bit of experience over time. Like I don't have to think about that as much. It kind of comes naturally into the design of the piece. This flap back here, the reason why it's built this way is so that we can retain the round shape. And also, I just like the idea, like in the shot where the sun is coming through, Cot's here is all sad. Maybe he's backlit. And you're just seeing this light kind of come in. That even though it's a sad scene, the world feels very charming. If you notice here, there's more wood. So we don't have a lot of wood in our scenes. I kind of just wanted to avoid it. And the part of the reason is because it's very difficult to get to scale. So the wood here is like procedural because when I tried to get like actual wood textures, they were too low res. The grain on the wood would be so big. And so it wasn't really working very well. I wanted to make everything metal, But Miguel was like, you really shouldn't. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I just did my best. If I kind of break it down here, there is some real wood textures that have worked. I'll hide some of these. We'll take a second to update. Takes a moment because it's heavy. There's a lot of UDIMs. If you look over here, that's a ton of UDIMs. So our computer, thanks to Dell, is very strong and can handle all of these things here. Here, this is the procedural wood. I feel like it works well enough. It's a little bit stylized, I would say. I think it's fine. I'll hide some of these layers so you can just see. So this actually started with a, here it is, blank. And let's get rid of these tents. This actually started with a smart material that comes from default. In here, it's called wood Nordic wood or something like that. It didn't really quite work. So I didn't build this material. This is like a substance, actual wood material. I thought it was cool. It had some issues. Like it does these weird kind of knots. They look really strange to me. And they also,
It's all procedural.
yeah, this is a procedural material by itself. So the one thing I did was I use this trick a ton. Like if I feel like it kind of gives away this knot being the size, because the knot would be really huge, right? So what the trick that I always do is I'll put a paint layer, I'll set every part to pass through, every channel. So my base color, my height, my roughness is set to pass through. My metallic, there's no metal, but let's just do it. Let's set every channel to pass through just for fun. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll take the smudge here and I'll just kind of smudge it out. Although it's not doing it on normal height. Okay, so I'm not sure why it's not smudging it all out. Maybe I have a setting wrong because it's doing it here. Okay, but oh, I know why. I'm just being dumb. It's because I have to turn on all these channels here. So let me step back a little bit in my history. There we are. And in the smudge one, I'll just make sure all these are active, and they are now. And it will smudge everything. So this is a trick I use a lot. I'm doing it kind of bad. But you can put, you can change the brush stroke. So you could put like a texture on the brush. So if I chose something that was more like this charcoal, you can see how that breaks that up. And this is a trick I use all the time. It's doing this kind of strange texture. So let me backtrack a little bit. And what I can do on this brush stroke is tell it to follow the path of my brush and maybe rotate it, the brush a little bit. Follow on the angle. I actually need to see this much larger because I don't know what it's doing. Okay, I would use a different one. I like forgot how to rotate my brush. I don't know
That happens.
what's wrong with me. Okay, doing the hardness.
It's because our minds have been in something completely different for the past week.
Okay, it's kind of doing it. Right, let's pretend I did it good. I actually need to see this window larger because this is the only way I can kind of see my stroke. I'll just make it really large and then I can adjust the angle. There, I did it finally. Now it goes up and down. Okay, I'll leave this over here. So that's a trick I use a lot to get rid of all the stuff. I just kind of did it barely. And then what I did here is I started layering this kind of wood pattern on top. So it's being driven by a mass. So this is procedural. And again, I usually don't do procedural wood. It's just because the real wood textures just don't hold up. This is just some kind of texture from here that's wood. And what's happening over here is that it's just darkening it. I decided that this one color is not complex enough. So within here, if you were to take a look, let's look at this base color. There's additional breakup. So whatever it's feeling in here, it just makes it more complex. There's a little bit of purples. The reason being, I just think it would look nicer with just not just all brown, because wood is not just brown, right? So I get that layer. And then I did some contrast. And then this additional pattern on top, which is also a procedural piece. So this is a procedural texture. And it really drives a lot of the look. It feels really large. Again, I think maybe it's a little stylized, but it seems to work. And then some wood fibers here, just so it gives it more detail. I mean, you don't normally see wood that large. And then just some extra darkening passes.
That
on
looks
this.
great.
Yeah, so it kind of works out. Now that I've done this one, the one thing we have Ethan working on additional parts. So the plan is all this down here is going to be rigged, and then what Ethan is going to build is like this cart body. He's going to build something different. It can't be round, basically, and there's going to be no umbrella. So he's going to do generic carts that these Threadlings are going to be pushing around. So the first time you kind of see them, you'll see the environment.
Generic makes it sound like they're not cool. They are really cool.
No, they're
It's-
actually super cool.
they're
just,
really cool. They're just not the hero ones.
Yeah, but they're still pretty built hero. I
Yeah.
guess they're still great looking.
Yeah.
They're just used by other characters and not cotton mail.
Yeah.
And so this would be rigged. And Ethan's going to design his own thing. He's actually a very good designer.
He's a good designer.
He's
I don't think
actually
he
great.
realizes he's a good designer until this project.
Yeah, I don't think he did. But he's actually like just really good at it. So we're just like, yeah, just keep this because this gets rigged. Do whatever you want. Just don't do umbrella and it can't be spherical. So with those things in mind, he's going to make variations of that. The one thing I did do here that I did notice, I did look at like a lot of wagon wheels, and because you have to look at a bunch of stuff. And I did notice like the way it's constructed, if you kind of notice here, let's see if I can turn on all these layers. Generally like this top part is usually metal, and then there is wood here, but they're all like constructed by sheets. Like if you think about it, it's not really easy to like bend wood, right? You can bend wood a little bit, but not enough like this. So it's really comprised of multiple pieces, and I wanted to make that convincing. So the one thing I added in here, if I kind of hide all these passes, let's see. Here, so that's the model, is I added some of a height work here so that it feels like it's been cut. So I kind of pushed that a little bit. And none of this stuff, when it's modeled, is very low. It's actually modeled really high. Because one of the things is in the previous, I think it's changed in this version Unreal. You can smooth your objects now, right? Like generally most pipelines, the way like something like a wheel would be built is it'll be much lower poly, and then during render time, it'll be smooth so that the wheel looks smooth and not faceted. But that kind of, I think, creates a little bit of problems for us because we are working in Maya, and then we're going to bring it into Unreal. And then we have a lot of issues like making sure like everything actually connects, or the contact points, if that makes sense. I'll kind of show you what the cart looks like. And I think if I kind of demonstrate some of the concerns, it will make sense. here. Okay, so you can kind of see the density. It is quite dense. Typically, in a movie pipeline, what I've been used to doing is if this was going to be a wheel, you know, it might have been, in terms of poly count, you know, might have been lower than this, might have been like this, right? And then you would have all these facets, and it would get smooth during render time. For us, when something gets smooth, it does change the shape, and the contact points will change, which then becomes an issue for us, and we don't want to deal with that. So we just make everything a little bit more dense. And this is the densest, you know, I've ever gotten was working in Unreal. Now, since we're making it dense and we're not applying displacements, within the geometry, what I've done is just break it up a little bit so it feels more like wood. So it's
That
not.
looks good.
Yeah, this one turned out good. So it looks like something else. And the way that I've been doing this, I used to do it in ZBrush. Sometimes I used to do it in Maya. It got kind of tiring though, because to move from one program to another, it really slows you down. So if you can kind of try to keep everything within the same program, you'll save a lot of time. So let's say I have something like this. I'll select all the vertices. Actually, let's get rid of the cap. So if I don't need the end caps, I'll usually delete them. And I'll select all of this. And I've been using bonus tools in Maya. Under Modify, Randomize Transforms Advanced. And I'll get something like this. And under the components, I'll add like noise. So let's do 0.8. You kind of see it. Let's do 2. Right, you can see it's breaking up. You can also change the frequency. So I can say, you know, frequency of 2, something like that. And I could really push the strength of it. And I've just been playing with that, and I applied it to all this, so it just helps make it get done quickly.
I
And
mean, even if you smooth that at that point, not saying that you're gonna, but if you smooth it now, you're gonna get a really nice surface.
yeah, you'll get like this breakup. It just saves time.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm looking for, is to make sure none of this is perfect. And you can see, you know, it has that. And the
Yeah,
wheels
definitely has.
wheels are not perfect. These are not perfect. It was
The
just
wheels are more subtle.
yeah, because you don't want it to like,
Yeah, I get it.
you still want it to roll.
Yeah.
So I was very careful with the wheels.
We used to have a Model T that had wooden spoke wheels like that, and changing the tires was
Was not good.
it's not good.
It sucked. So anyway, this is not really done. It's almost done. I just got to finish some color pattern. The stitching is what takes the longest. The one thing that Miguel wanted here was like, since his mate caught Mio's cart, he's like just gonna draw some shit all over it. He's just gonna graffiti on it because he's a kid,
Yeah.
right? And he's gonna do kid things to it. So, and again, the umbrella is like very much their little aesthetic. So I can't wait for this scene. I hope it's cute.
Yeah, we definitely have a vision of how this has to play out. Let me see if I could find like what that scene is. Let me see if I have it here.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've always done, and it's very funny because I feel like when people meet us, we're meeting new people a lot now, and other writers and other filmmakers. They just think like we like to make cute stuff and that we're animators. And I'm like, we're not really animators. Like, I don't know how to animate, right?
We don't animate. We don't kind of not know how to animate. We don't
just
animate at all.
No, we don't animate at all. So
We're total hacks.
So we're meeting like industry people. They don't work in CG the way we do. They don't work like where most people listening to the stream. Like, you know what a modeler is, you know what an animator is, you know what a compositor is. It's a different kind of thing. So but we're just being called animators. And then we have this impression like, oh, we just like making cute stuff. And it's like, no, actually, we don't. We don't. So
Not at all.
it's actually challenging for, when I'm looking at this, I'm going, can this character actually be cute? Because it's not really something that comes easy. You can make something kind of creepy, right? So I hope that this is cute.
Yeah.
Do you want to show?
Yeah.
Show?
Yeah. I don't know how to share the screen anymore.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
Okay, there it goes. So, let me put this here just so we have some kind of visual. Even though this is not actually synced correctly, it makes this thing makes it look like it is, but it's not. But it gives us something to look at. So this is him right after that whole thing goes wrong. So he would be out in the berry field. And the
Sitting on the
berry
cart.
field would be he'd be on the little cart with all the cactus. So he just messed up his spell. Let me try to. Can't really hear it.
Expel.
So you can see he's doing the spell completely fine now.
Where's the stutter now? You dummy. The more I try, the more my words tangle up. Maybe I was not meant to do this. Maybe I was born.
Yeah, it's so not mixed yet that
Oh, you get an idea.
the intensities are completely messed up. So let's try that.
Maybe I was not meant to do this. Maybe I was born broken. Serious?
Really adorable little voice.
The more my words tangle up.
So we did try to cast an adult for this, and then once we heard this kid, we were like, okay, we have to do a little kid.
Yeah, so much rest on this.
I wanted to show you something which is kind of funny. So this is kind of how these things are done. So if I come over here, you could see like the raw. Let me see. Is this it? Oh, here it is. Zort 001. You can just kind of see like how these sessions usually go. So you can see for one line, this is all just one line. And this is us just trying to nail this thing down and me doing a terrible impression to try to tell him how it needs to be.
Like sucked in, yeah. All right. Mm-hmm.
And by the time you're like, I stood emboldened,
Uh-huh.
unleash the
Okay. You got it. All right. In the chilling darkness of the moth hive, fear of death gripped me. Yet, recalling the prophecy's
So you can see there's big
promise
gaps
of
between
victory,
some of the lines.
my fear waned.
So he'll do it
Okay.
and then just adjusting it.
Yeah, you don't record
Okay.
this one time.
Got it. In the chilling dark,
So the first take was very subtle.
You can
unleash the moth. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. In the chilling darkness of the moth hive, fear of death gripped me. Yet, recalling the prophecy's promise of victory.
So he does it there, and then we just.
Let's do a few little changes here.
Okay.
Let's accent the heavens. Like, this is how I almost picture the heavens.
Okay.
Really over the
Uh-huh.
And then you go, unleash them all.
It's like a performance.
It's a performance.
Okay, got it.
So be bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I'm trying to tell him to be a bad actor on purpose because Zort is supposed to be this pompous, douchey, over the top, self-absorbed guy. So I want that to project in his voice.
In the chilling darkness of the moth hive,
There you start getting it there.
fear of death gripped me. Yet recalling the prophecy's promise of victory, my fear waned.
So that's Zort, and then this kid. Let me jump to this. Let me see where I have this here. So this is when they kind of start falling into this trance from one of the moths. Like the moths do this incantation, and this is Caught trying to break out of it.
This kid is the cutest kid.
He's the cutest kid.
But we have evidence now. If you follow us, we can.
And then boom, he'd get cut off right there. The door would burst open, and in comes Zort, the bad guy.
There he is! The Lepidoptera murderer! Run!
So Lepidoptera is the scientific name for a moth. So, but yeah, so that's basically what we've been doing. So recording all of this stuff. I don't want to say who, but we did do a recording of one of the characters that turned out to be disastrous. And I think we have to recast it. So Cot and Zort were just absolutely amazing. But we did one that was,
Yeah. Oh, here's some comments. Like,
yeah.
So cute, so pretty. I think that's the card. Thank you.
Yeah, I already put all that.
Oh, you
up.
already did?
Yeah.
And here's this one here. The kid is
The
awesome.
kid is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounds so good. Yeah. I love this kid. Let me see. There's a few other ones here that.
He's a cute. He's the greatest kid. He's so cool.
Hurry. We gotta find proof for a map of the colony. Hurry. We gotta find proof before.
So this is just me trying to figure out which is the best take. So I just place them in here, and usually the one I like the most, I'll put up above or below. I don't remember on this one.
A map of the colony. Hurry.
Yeah, and then or let's play this part here. I think this is like more consistent.
Here. For protection.
So here for protection is they're about to sneak into Zort's bedroom, and he's putting lavender water on Mayo because moths hate the smell of lavender.
But he's anointing him. Like,
He's anointing him. Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's like it's holy water.
Like it's holy water. Yeah, yeah.
Here. For protection. Go. Perfect.
So now Mayo's running across the ceiling to try to sneak up.
Go.
Right? He runs across the ceiling. He drops down and gets to put his foot and block the door from closing to Zort's bedroom.
Perfect.
Right? So they walk in.
Hurry. We gotta find proof before.
So they're trying to find proof, and then he notices a map on the wall.
A map of the colony. This is Moth Tongue. I knew it. Oh no. The cedar circle.
So the cedar circle is this ring of cedar, like kind of like they're not monoliths because there's not just one of them, but I don't know how else to
They
describe it.
basically form a barrier.
They
around-
form a barrier
and they keep the
around
moths.
around their colony. So cedar, for those that don't know, is if you go to like antique houses, the closets they would advertise it as like, oh, it's a cedar closet. Moths don't like the smell of cedar, so they avoid it. So when they go into Zort's bedroom, they realize that a bunch of the cedar pieces are there in his room hiding. So the barrier is broken around the colony, and the moths can attack at any moment.
The cedar circle. Be quiet.
So Mayo makes a sound or something, knocks down the bowl of food or something,
What do you see, Mayo?
and that's when Mayo has like a sixth sense, like an ability, like a Jedi, to sense things, and he senses something under the bed.
What do you see, Mayo?
So they flip the cover of the bed,
Holy shit. He ate them.
and there'll be a bunch of dead threadlings under the bed, like corpses. so, so it's very like so that's what when I was watching the Jeffrey Dahmer show, and I was like, oh, this would be awesome if we put like the Zord is like a serial killer, and he's keeping the bodies under the bed. So then boom, Zord bursts into the room,
Get away from Zord!
and Zord is with 2 other people.
Do it, Mayo!
Mayo throws the lavender water on them. They break out of the spell. Not Zord, because Zord is not in the spell. He is
The one in casting the spell.
yeah. He's now infested with larvae, and
This is for Zord! Moth scum!
so he knows at this point that that's not actually
Zord anymore.
that's not Zord anymore. Yeah. So I could play this part here. This is actually a really cool one when he's when he figures out what is going on here. Let's do.
Yeah, I mean, part of this, like, it starts out what we're going for, it starts out very cute.
Yeah.
And he's a cute little guy facing pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah, so the whole idea is the beginning of this film, you're going to think, oh, this is like another I want to be Pixar freaking thing.
And these are
And then
so
all of a sudden
cute.
there's serial killers, decapitations. It ends super messed up, and that's what we want to do. So this is caught piecing together what the hell is going on by reading some of the old manuscripts in his room after they kind of see some crazy shit.
Listen to this, Mayo. In rare instances, larvae dwelling within threadlings may possess the spirit's vessel, a shadow over the mind by dark forces entwined, consuming their essence, leave but a hollow shell. Do you realize what that means?
So Mayo's gonna shake his head, agree, say like yes he does, and then start shaking his head because he has no idea.
It means Zord, the chosen one, may already be dead. That means the prophecy was wrong, and we're all in danger. Especially you.
So Mayo goes, is Mayo hurt too? Is Mayo in danger too?
Especially you. You tried to kill him.
Because Mayo tries to kill Zord earlier. So
Anyway, we have fun writing this.
yeah,
And we're not sure how it's going to be received or anything like that, but
it was fun.
it's fun.
And this kid just brought it to in my opinion. When I hear him, like,
Especially you. You tried to kill him.
it just sounds so much like a kid. I just love it. I know it sounds so weird to say he sounds like a kid because he is a kid.
I got it. Mayo, can you help me find a bright light, lavender water, and 2 sharp cedar stakes? Great. Then I think I have a plan.
So that's when they start going on like this 80s Lost Boys mission. They're going to be wearing red headbands, of course, and they have to go and
They're going to wear headbands.
red ones. They have to wear red headbands and try to get the proof that they need to convince the colony that Zord is not who he says he is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this is total 80s homage to, those sort of movies, The Lost Boys, The Thing, all of that stuff, but tied around a ridiculous premise of fabric and moths. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, our goal is like very cute, unassuming, but it's not that cute. It's a cute kid, it's a little kid facing messed up
not
stuff.
cute things, yeah.
Very not cute things. Things when you think about it is pretty messed up. So, but it's still technically, it is lighter than the last thing we did, which Voice in the Hall was dark.
Yeah, and this is a challenge for us. This is a challenge for us because we're trying to do something that is not as dark. So there's still a bunch of dark elements because we never want to do, straight Disney Pixar stuff. But it's
is-
more fun.
Yeah, it's more challenging to try to build these cute characters and breathe life into them.
Yeah. So we're also writing a script for a feature right now, and it is just straight horror, and we're doing it for the writing program that we're in, the ride back program. And we flew through that thing so freaking fast because it's more along the lines of what we're more comfortable doing,
Which is just dark.
just dark and messed up. So this one has been the hardest thing we've ever had to try to write,
Yeah, definitely.
and it might suck, but we'll see.
I believe in it.
Yeah.
but it's tough because you know what I say is that these characters aren't really, they're not human. They're little guys. They're stylized. They have to be cute, and there has to be a sense of adventure, and you have to feel something for this kid. So it's and you don't have a lot of time. You don't, you know, it's not a full feature or anything like that. So you got to establish all these things, and you have to set up this world. So
Yeah.
like stories with a lot of setup, where it's not typical. Like if you have a story, and it could have kids or whatever, but they're just regular humans. They live in modern day, and they're in their house, right? And that you don't have to say a lot, right? You just know there's things that everyone knows, right? Mom, dad, brother, school, like all those things are given to you already. When you are building something like this, none of that is given to you, and you have to feed that into the story as in the most naturalistic way you can.
Yeah.
So, are you
Okay, so this is cool. So this is when Cot sees Zort after he's been attacked by. Oh, this is another cool thing that. So Luma Pictures is helping us with one of the sequences. They are helping us animate and rig some of the characters, and they've put on some of their best animators to help us with one of the more brutal sequences, which is incredible. And the fact that they're helping us on that is incredible. Luma was the first job I got out of Gnomon. So for them to now be helping us out on one of my projects is kind of
It's really awesome.
bananas. And yeah, so we can't thank Vince Sorelli and Raphael enough, who's the animation director, who I've known since I was, like 10 years old or something. I used to surf with him when we were like little kids. So yeah, back in Miami. So anyway, so this is a sequence where it's kind of like nighttime at this point, and they see Zort coming back from this thing where they thought like there's no way he could have survived this. And this is kind of where the film takes, this is not the moment where it takes a turn. It definitely was a scene before this, but this is where Cot and Mayo realize they have to do something.
Zort, are you all right?
So that's just Cot.
Zort?
And let's go in and start putting in some of the stuff. So right away, the first thing I want to do is try to set up some sort of a vibe here. So what I'll probably do is I'll go into my sound libraries. And I'm going to find, let's see what we have here, some kind of an ambient sound. So let's see what I have here. So I have like these. This one might not be it. This one might be from The Voice in the Hollow. Yeah, I could already tell this is from The Voice in the Hollow. And all my sounds are from The Voice in the Hollow since. So this is just like atmospheric sound. It's not necessarily music. It's just. So they're too big. But this one might work. Let's try this for now. We're not going to end up using this one, but we could just kind of start getting an idea.
Zort, are you all right?
So bring the volume of this way down. Crank this up.
Zort, are you all right?
Okay,
It
so
still gives you the feeling of the scene though.
Zort,
100%. So let's start going in and grabbing the sounds of Zort. So we'll just go to the voice in the hall. The Threadlings. I'm still in the Threadling world. Assets, audio.
There's a couple comments. Threadlings is going to be a cult classic. I can already tell. It's so freaking awesome. Thank you, Ty.
The moths are no threat. The moths.
Okay, so it's not that one.
And I'm waiting for the toys to be released.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. And then you actually have a question here. Are you capturing the video for reference or doing mocap for the voice animation?
It's a great question. So for the recording of the voiceovers, we actually did have the mocap X set up to record their faces, which we could have as reference. But ultimately, what I quickly realized is I like to cut everything around. So I want this word from that take and this word from that take. So probably not going to be able to use them for all of them, but there might be one or two where we just use it straight from there. Regardless, we'd have to adjust the eye lines and always clean it up a little bit. The facial stuff, whenever there's dialogue, always requires that kind of stuff. But we did all of that. The bodies are going to be all mocapped. Oh, I actually have something else to show, which is kind of cool. Let me see if I could pull it up here. Give me 1 second.
You know what I like about having all this audio? I like many things about it. Like you write this story, and they're just like words on a paper, and you have some kind of like idea in your head, but it still is not something yet, right? Is when you record it, the characters finally come to life. The other things that happens during the recording session is sometimes we just change the lines. You realize once it's delivered, it's not delivered the way you think it would. So part of the process a lot that we're doing and we're exploring a little bit more is, once we're getting the read, is to just rewrite lines on the spot. And that's why like productions will have writers on the set because they just need to rewrite something. Like it's not, once you have it being performed, it's not quite like the way you think it is. The other thing that is really nice about having the sound is you really get a true length of the time. And the true length of time of the actual short and the length of the time of each scene
So is that playing super choppy?
is playing pretty choppy.
Oh, that sucks.
What do you, what is that trick that you do where you click on one thing and,
Well, that works for.
well, when you play it smaller, I think it works. I think you have to play it really small because it looks super choppy.
Does that work?
Yeah, it's actually smooth when it's little.
Yeah, what a bummer. It plays so smooth on the computer. But you could see that's like an early test of the moth. So there's all kinds of interpenetration and whatever, but you could start seeing how these guys are just horrible, massive, demonic creatures. So it's going to be really cool. So that's that. You could see a side view.
Well, look what Netbox said. Well, that moth looks even more terrifying than expected. Yeah, which is cool. Bobby, I like the skill. It feels disgusting. It's like the way the legs move.
Yeah, so you could see really cool the side view. I freaking love that side view.
Yeah. Yeah, the moth cycle. This is animated by Alon, right?
Alon Hellman.
Who is a really amazing animator.
Yeah, we go back with him since the Ningyo days. He's been fantastic. He did a lot of the creatures in the Ningyo. He did all the anteater shots in the Ningyo, in the Voice in the Hollow, and then he did the first pass of the dying sequence of Koa and Allah. He's great.
Yeah.
We've worked with him on like commercials. Didn't he do the fish also he did for some of the commercial stuff we've done. So So we just use them whenever we can. So this is
Because he's gonna put something else into it.
yeah. So you have to picture that with this here. Let me see. Let me see.
I think that's the thing too. Like when you tell people like it's moth versus cloth people, they're like picturing like these little moths that kind of look like butterflies. And so when you're telling the story, you're like, or if someone reads the script, it's just on paper. They're just like, well, why is the moth so scary? And you're like, well, you got to see it.
So can you hear that?
Yeah.
So you can see like with the music, like this will be the moth theme.
I
And
actually
these
don't hear it.
you don't hear it?
Play it again.
You don't hear that?
No, I think you might have to download it.
That's weird. It doesn't play that off of a browser. Let me
Maybe that's what happened last time.
I think that's what it was too. Let me just download this thing.
Last time we were trying to play like some scores that Dan did that we weren't able to, but I think we can play it this time.
I think I
give
can
us
just play this. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Turn it up.
It's gonna be
Oh yeah.
so that with this. It's gonna be pretty cool. And then yeah, it's pretty cool. Let me pull up the attack. It's gonna get really loud in a second. So this is the music when all the moths come down from the sky into the rotunda and start just annihilating everybody. That's pretty cool.
Play the theme.
I already played the theme a bunch.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
We couldn't. It didn't work last time.
It didn't work? I'll play it then. Da, da, da.
Just as
Audio.
terrifying as retopology. Yeah, I think Dan would love to hear these comments.
And that's the theme song.
That's Dan. It's
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, what is it called, arrogant or whatever, to like your own stuff, but it's not really my stuff. It's Dan's stuff that he's doing for our thing.
Yeah.
Dan's the best.
So yeah, that's it. That's all we have for this week, guys. You know, unless you want to hear me doing bad acting, and but that's basically the spiel. And we recorded all of this at Rideback, which they've been amazing. I don't think they're ever listening to this, but they've given us an office space to do all of this stuff and to work from. And yeah, Dan Lin has been amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think it's an achievement that we got these two actors down. Caught, I think, was absolutely the trickiest, and I think he's perfect. He's better than I thought he could be, and he was more than I could hope for. So much rest on something like that, you know.
Ted wants to hear the song one more time. Yeah, I'll play it one more time.
Which one? The moth one, or
The moth one or the theme song, Ted?
you can play both. I don't know. So we don't see it. Update.
I'll just play the theme song.
Oh, the kids.
Okay, well, I'll play the theme song one more time anyway. What the hell? Well, you know what? This is actually kind of cool because I was actually thinking about how we could use this with
Netbugs, they play both.
the trailer. Let me see if I have this here. Thought I had it here. Because we definitely want to have an epic trailer for this whole thing. Thought I had it. Well, let me just do it. Let me just do a new one here.
The theme slaps. Thanks, Ty.
I think it's this one right here. Yeah, it's here. Okay, so
53 recording.
Recording?
so this is like we're trying to piece together the trailer. Oh, this is an interesting thing. So you can see we have the clapboard. So for those that don't know what the clapboard is actually used for, besides looking cool, it's actually there's a big reason for it, and the whole thing is that a camera and the audio recording are done by two completely different objects, right?
And two different teams.
Two different teams. So when that clap board strikes, you can always see that spike in the audio. Click. Now visually, you'll see that frame when that the little stick or whatever makes contact. Now you have an actual frame to align the sound and align the video. So that's what that's used for. Now, why would we need that if we're doing this with animation? Because we were also capturing motion capture. We had to not just do this, but we had to have him blink so that we knew when the stuff would line up perfectly. So his blinking represented this right here. So anyway, that way we could see it in the actual animation. So his eyes became the clapboard to sync up with this.
Prophecy mail. It's all been a lie.
So this is kind of, we did multiple different reads of this, but the idea would be to use this for the trailer was something like this. Give me 1 second. I just messed everything up.
The prophecy mail. It's all been a lie.
So maybe offset this like this.
The prophecy mail. It's all been a lie. The moths. They're here. Hiding among us. In plain sight. The moths line?
So you can see it gets ruined because that's the end of the take. But that's kind of the vibe that we want to do for the trailer. But we do want to do one of those. I'll actually read it for you because it's kind of funny. Let me find it here. So the cheesy.
Yes, we have 2 trailers, and this one is a very 80s.
So this is total 80s trailer. So you can see even the trailer's written as a script. So in a world woven from threads, an unspeakable evil has emerged, threatening to devour every thread in its path. Now 2 unlikely heroes must rise and face the swarming darkness of malevolent moths to save their world from being devoured, the Threadlings. Coming soon to a theater or drive-in near you. Check newspapers for showtimes.
I don't know how old this audience is, but if you are around our age or even a little bit younger, you'll remember trailers used to be like that. It always started in the world, and it always ended. Check your newspapers for local times.
So funny. Yeah, so we were like really looking at all the 80s horror trailers. Like I did a deep dive and just started watching them for hours on YouTube. And I kind of narrowed it down to 2 that I really like. Let me see if I could send you guys the link. Let me just find it here. But I really love these here. Give me 1 second. I'm doing it on the other monitor because I don't want to get copyright striked, but I'll send you guys the path. So the main one was
How do they catch that copyright stuff?
it's all just it just like a I don't want
Automated.
to, but basically it is. It just goes over it and it recognizes the sounds patterns and then it knows that that's it. Okay, so the big ones, I won't play it, but Prom Night had a trailer that I really loved. So let me put this link if you guys are interested to see it. So that one is fantastic. And then the other one that I really loved was this one here. You know what? The Prom Night one is not the main one. It's the Fear No Evil. So this one here, I'll paste this over here. What I really like but I love this part here. I'll play this part because there's probably going to be no problem. I totally need that. So we're gonna put that. We want the trailer to feel really cheesy and 80s. So with the music and the visuals and the story, it's basically like a school drama in a way. I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So My Bloody Valentine, Fear No Evil, and
You have a comment. You need the narrator too. Yep.
oh yeah, totally. We're totally getting the narrator.
Yeah, we're getting narrator with that type of voice.
Yeah, I mean that's what it says here. You can see it says narrator in a world woven from threads, right? So we totally want that. And the narrator voice, even though it sounds like the same one in your memory, when you go back and see it, he changes the way he talks based on whether it's a romance or a horror or a drama. It's the same dude more or less, but
But when it's horror, it's like really deep.
he goes really deep. And then he goes a little bit faster when he goes coming soon to a theater or driving near you. Check newspapers for showtimes.
Yeah, he says it like in 2 seconds.
He says that really quick, yeah, because you can't waste the time on that. But so this is the cheesy trailer we need to have done. We want to get this done really soon. So the mocap session is coming in the next few weeks. I want to do it like right away. The main thing holding us back is we just want to lock down the Shrog actor,
Yeah.
who's the older guy.
And then we need to do some more casting.
Yeah.
So-
And yeah, we need to.
But I would say it was pretty successful though. Like the shoot with the caught actor and the Zord actor was very successful. And so those are really good things because
Miguel
sometimes
watches YouTube on bright mode.
yeah, sometimes when you do those things, you can't just expect it that you're always going to get it because those type of things you do your best to try to cast the right person, but they're really out of your hands at some point, and you can, I don't know. I feel like we did really good. We got very lucky,
Yeah.
so which is super fortunate.
You know what? I actually don't ever watch YouTube on my computer. That's probably why I have it on bright mode. I always have it set up in my
You watch it on TV.
on the TV on our projector. Yeah. But now that you say that, I wanna darken it because you're right. It is.
Super bright.
I think that's why I hate YouTube on my computer. Now that you say that,
I have mine in dark mode.
how do you turn it onto dark mode?
You'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's it. So we'll be back next week with some more progress. Right?
Aha! I got it on dark mode. Nice.
It's just thinking about that.
I even have YouTube Premium. That's how much I love YouTube. So I love YouTube. But okay, so we're all good. Look at this, dark mode. Buddha bang. All right, guys. So that's all we got for this week. So more script stuff, more sound stuff. Trans Beautiful Cart, our cheesy trailer that's coming, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we're hoping we get some really good news next week that we can't wait to tell you, but we definitely can't say it yet because there's like a 90% chance it's not going to happen. But okay, so thank you guys, and
We'll see you again.
thank you for the stream. I'm going to do the outro here, and we'll see you later.